Well, so the thing, yeah. It says we're live right here. I probably should have changed my shirt. A nice gray.
We can just say you had a heat flash. Check one on the mic.
I don't honestly have any idea how to check if I'm gonna pull it up on my. Good morning, everybody. Friday morning.
Yep.
Check it on see if anybody can hear us. Nobody's on with us yet, but I'm concerned about the nobodies out there. I mean, if we're going to do this, people should be able to hear.
I just feel like we should do it so that I have something to watch later tonight when I get home.
Yeah. What did you say?
I said we need to podcast so that I have something to watch tonight when I get home.
So have you gone back and listened to all of ours?
Not all of them. As a matter of fact,
Did you miss the one on vacation?
I still have not watched that one. I'm not in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's really nothing to watch.
Okay.
That's not true. But, no, the only one I've not watched any of them in their complete entirety. But last week was the one I watched the most of.
Okay. What'd you think?
I like it. It's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah,
It
I like
is
doing
fun.
this. Yeah.
I think it helps that you and I know each other so well because I think some of the ways that I get hung up that I have noticed when I try to do Facebook lives or interviews with other people is it's hard to know where to go with some people, and we do have so much context that it's something that may be offensive or maybe inappropriate to ask somebody else. I will ask you.
Open book.
Anyway, I know.
Here I am.
So how is your Break the Chain challenge coming?
Rock freaking solid.
What day? It's August 3rd. It's Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th. Don't walk under any ladders or black cats or anything. I don't know. Break any glass.
It's weird. I did all three of those on the way in here. It's going wonderful. I am reading so much more. Looking forward to reading. And it helps that I'm reading Hamilton and I'm learning. So loving the play and the musical sparked the interest of reading the book.
Yeah.
And the book is whoa in some regards. So I feel like I've gotten 30% of the information that he's throwing at me. It's just a lot.
Would you read it again? Or is that too much to take on?
The only reason I say no is because it's sparking me to want to read other biographies of the other players.
Okay, so give me one of the hot button things that you've learned. What's on your mind from your book?
Well, and I said this to Sue. Our country, at the beginning, post-approval of ratification of the Constitution, through Washington's 2 terms, and Adams is currently president, where I'm at in the book.
Okay.
Wholly divided country.
Adams?
John Adams? I
know him.
Exactly, right? Right? No.
Yes.
Yes. So, wholly divided country, talking shit on each other. I thought the Trump experience and what we did was a new thing.
Okay.
By no stretch of the imagination. They thought Hamilton and Washington were trying to reinstitute a monarch. The conspiracy theory.
Oh, wow.
There was controlling of newspapers because you were either strong Republican, which is Jefferson, or you were strong Federalist, which is Hamilton, and they were just writing shit about the other side.
Wow.
And they would, any morsel that they could cling to, and you that echo chamber, thank God there wasn't social media back then.
Right?
But, I just didn't know they didn't like each other that much.
And do you think that's because of social media? News just doesn't travel in the same way? Or we're not taught, high school social studies teacher.
Right.
Why don't we learn this in high school?
Right. I thought that just yesterday. I was why do we paint all these guys? I thought they were all BFFs.
Right. So did I, right?
Hanging out together. And they were not. And it would be fun to teach it that way, where because wow, Adams and Hamilton are buds, and then when Adams becomes president, it goes bad because Adams finds out that Hamilton was trying to prevent his election. And Adams can't get over it, that he would betray him because they're in the same party. And from that point, Hamilton's dead to Adams. But Hamilton still has influence because of the people in Adams' cabinet. So Adams is all this conspiracy theory where he's trying out to get me, and he's trying to control my cabinet, and he's trying to,
Right.
and so he becomes the victim, and they're like, he was pretty much useless as a president because he was just constantly complaining that it was everybody else out to get him, that he didn't have the initiative to get anything done. He spent more than half of his presidency at home in Massachusetts. So if you think Trump played a lot of golf,
Right.
and was in Florida, pales in comparison to Adams in Massachusetts. Running the
that
country by
insecurity?
letter. Running the country by letter.
Right.
Correspondence.
Pre-internet at
Pre-internet.
home.
Sending couriers back because Philadelphia was the capital at this point. Like it's fun. So to come back to what you asked, yeah. So like I'm looking forward to reading.
Yeah.
The other part, like per the play versus the book, is like Burr's not a major player in the book right now. Has not been a major player in the book.
And you're how far through the book?
I am 100 pages from being done of a 700-page book. And Burr
Wow.
is a blurb every once in a while, so you can, like, the play obviously focuses on that.
Yeah.
And we know it's going to go south. I've got 5 years left. We're 5 years outside of the
It's like you know what's coming.
It's coming, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and Philip's still alive. His son has not
Oh
had
my
his duel
gosh.
yet, right? So like, there's these things I know in the story,
yeah.
and I'm like, I got 100 pages left, bitch. Where? How am I this late in the book and this
Wow.
hasn't happened yet? And there are some other chronological things that Manuel switched around. But anyway, it's just totally got me back into enjoying reading.
I love that.
So I'm very happy.
Does it make you contemplate how you view our current political system differently?
It made me. It just made me aware that like this is not an anomaly in our
Yeah.
political history. So now I'm curious
We
about
like to
other
think we're
times.
so unique.
Right. All right. I'm very curious about other times when it was real bad.
Yeah.
So the
And it
Federalists.
got solved by a duel.
Well,
and
yeah,
not like
right.
a Twitter feud.
Exactly. Last thing, and then we can move on if we want. But
Yeah.
when Washington and Adams, and I don't know if it's going to be true of Jefferson, because in the play it talks about Burr campaigning. Remember,
Okay.
he talks about
Yeah.
I'm going to door. Actually,
Yeah.
it's training.
Yeah.
They didn't campaign for themselves back then. It was their friends that campaigned for them.
Okay.
And so that's how Hamilton tried to control and block Adams' presidency, is by actively campaigning for other people
I
and
gotcha.
trying to pump them up. The last thing, I know I said that was going to be the last thing, but the other thing is, you can see the Civil War already. Hands down, we were going to have a Civil War. The South was already the South, with Jefferson and Madison and Monroe and their idea of states' rights and the farmer, and the North was already industrialist and central government, and you can frickin' see a Civil War, and I'm in 1799.
Wow.
So I'm obviously enjoying the hell out of it.
Yes, you are. I am going to tell Jason he can make as much noise as he wants out here. I'll be right back in like 2
Okay.
seconds.
I won't say anything while you're
Don't say anything inappropriate.
So, while Kara's gone, actually I have nothing to say. I thought I had something witty. I have nothing to say. I need her. I need something to bounce off of. I don't really have anything to talk about. So, we have a microphone. I don't know if the sound's any better, but it's probably not even on actually. Although green means on, right? So our
Green
microphone
means-
should be on.
Yeah, it does.
So, anyway.
So we're expanding the shelves.
Right,
back by
so
the
that's who
office.
Jason is.
Yes. Yeah, so those were a hit, I think. We're going to move more of the kettlebells and dumbbells back there, get more things off of the floor, and expand them back a little bit more.
Did
So-
you have that idea of using the existing shelves in your office to be accessible from the
Joel
outside?
did.
Really?
I know, right? He is.
That's pretty
it's
brilliant.
pretty smart. Yep.
I saw that and was like, wow.
Yeah.
So the
it-
shelves already existed, if you don't know, in her office space back there.
Yeah, it's big built in, just wooden, very DIY shelf that came with the building, but they're 2 feet deep and they go the whole
Yeah.
expanse of the wall. So we opened up some of them because I honestly thought I might need more of them in the office, but then as we kind of got organized and filtered through things and got kind of strategic about what we were keeping where, and they were so functional,
Right.
we were like, I think we can just make this work.
So that's what he's doing
So
now.
he's opening up the front of them now, and getting us started with that. Yeah, and then he's going to plane the last. We've got like 5 more of these boards, and we're going to turn them into the countertop over there between
The
fridges.
last 5?
Yeah, so we're going to get 4 more because we're also moving the heat up.
Okay.
That heating unit that's in the back over
Yep.
McGee's spot, that's going to get raised up.
Okay.
And so right now there's 4 boards
Wow.
that's attached to. So those will be the last 4.
That's impressive. That was a ton of wood.
Was a ton of wood.
Did you read?
We still have some blocks. Like on opening day, we gave away a block to everybody, which seems weird. We gave everybody a block
I loved
of
it.
wood. I love it too.
Ours are our coat hangers.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
everyone had a bolt in it. They all came out of the ceiling. So I have some more of those at home.
Nice.
But yeah, it's been fun to kind of use it all around. Even he uses it like the scrap for trim. We've got a pile of just long, thin
Yeah.
strips. So it's been fun to kind of
Yeah.
give it back.
How is your Don't Break the Chain going?
Mine is going great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just talking to somebody about it the other day about I have 2. My one is I'm only drinking alcohol on Fridays and Saturdays, and that just was because I was kind of just getting into this mindless habit of drinking a glass of wine every day or a lot of and like just kind of questioning what I was getting out of it, but also wasn't like questioning it enough. You know, it's kind of routine in our house. We have friends that happy hours, like the Tuesday, let's meet at the bar. Those sorts of things happen in the summer.
Yep.
But I was just finding that I don't know that I was enjoying them as much as they were, detracting from maybe my next morning.
Right.
And that's been great because it's the decider, right? So I don't have to think about it at all during the week. It's amazing how much time I think we spend thinking about some of these things, even if it is just a glass of wine. But I literally just don't think about it during the week. Today is Friday. We'll have happy hour after class. We've got a couple things going on. I'm really looking forward to them.
Mm-hmm.
We met up with some friends last weekend. And then I like that it's Friday, Saturday, and then like Sunday again, that decision is made. So it's not this like, oh, if we go out on the boat, and then like, are we going to drink? How many drinks are we going to have? Is it going to be sunny? Like, how late are we going to get back? What do I want to accomplish before Monday? Like, it just starts feeding into the week already.
Yeah.
And that is eliminated. Like, eliminated. So it's amazing, right? And it also makes it just that much more confusing about why we don't do things that we know make us feel amazing all the time.
Right.
Because the other one that mine is 3 meals and a snack a day, which sounds so remedial, right? Like
When you first said it, I was like, I don't think isn't that normal?
is that a goal?
So you're just gonna wake up, right? And like, doesn't that happen? But then when you explain,
Yeah,
what the schedule
so
is
when
like,
I just got really honest with myself, I just wasn't paying attention enough. And Matt O'Connell and I had a conversation at happy hour last Friday about like, what did he call it? Preventative eating. It was like you're not sure when you're going to eat again, so you just eat now, even if you're not hungry.
that's like third world stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, but like when you have this like split schedule or work shift where you're like working around meal times, if you are not strategic about when you eat, then it's like, okay, well I want to be at the gym from like 5 to 7 at night, which is dinner time, so I should eat before I go.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm hungry, it's 3 p.m. now, I'm hungry now, I'm going to be starving and cranky and angry by 7, I'm going to eat now.
Yep.
Cool, eat now, go to work, come
Makes
back.
sense.
Joel has just made dinner, my house smells lovely now, he's home, there's like freshly made food. I'm like, oh, I'll have dinner now.
yeah, right. Because you aren't. It's not that you're hungry, but you're not necessarily
Yeah,
full,
right.
So like,
So there's like mindlessly 2 dinners. But then it'll carry over the next day I'm coaching 9 or I'm here. It's like, okay, well, I'll eat before I go in. And then I get back and then it just kind of scarcity eating almost. And it's what started as like in between meal snacks turned into just, I was having an abundance of meals.
you were.
And the thing that I love about the 3 meals is it is everything that we advocate for in terms of it appears so simple.
Mm-hmm.
But in order for me to eat 3 meals a day and a snack and get enough nutrients to feel good in a workout and eat enough at each meal so that I'm not starving in between meals requires it to be fairly well balanced and an actual meal. You know, I can't just eat now on the run here because I'm thinking I'm going to eat in a couple of hours. It's like, okay, am I eating before or after? What does that look like? Lisa Clark and I were talking, like the answer is always add a couple vegetables, right? Like if you have a meal, but it's not really enough to be a meal, but you know it's going to be a full, 4 or 5 hours before your next meal, what is the thing you need to add to make that a meal? And it is another cup or two of vegetables. And it's, because we get so hung up on like, oh, well, we don't have anything thawed and, and we don't have, or this isn't going to fill me up or, or if it's not the perfect option. I've had pizza. I've had pasta, right? Like it didn't say healthy meals.
Right.
But I also know that I don't want 4 pieces of pizza. I would rather have 2, which also then isn't going to sustain me. I'm going to be hungry again in an hour, so I then need to add a cup or 2 of vegetables to turn that into a meal that fits. And the things that now I find that I'm eating regularly, I have started to track just to be sure that I've got, like it kind of worked its way backwards. Instead of like, okay, my goal is I'm going to track everything that I put in my mouth for the next 30 days. Like that was, what is the goal of that? I don't have any body composition goals. I don't have any like fitness goals. I really just want to make sure that I'm finding this caloric balance that makes sense with my current activity level. And it was like I backed into it almost.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's been refreshing to have it be so simple and yet so thought-provoking.
Right. So it's simple in like your willingness to do it.
Right.
In the case, 3 meals a day. And then by it being simple, then the thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
But you want it to happen, so you're willing to take the time.
Right.
To make sure that you have the 3 meals. I love it. So we're what? Almost halfway through the month.
Yeah,
13,
we're almost, yeah,
31.
we're like, yeah,
so
we're
18.
like,
Got 18 days to go.
Yep.
So have you thought about September? Are you going to add something, do you think?
I have not thought about September.
Yeah.
I have not thought. What about you?
Well, I actually haven't had anything to drink this week. So that happened kind of
August and a half.
Right. After talking about it and then
Don't break the back half of the chain.
Right.
Is that?
I mean, a month, it's so arbitrary. So arbitrary.
It actually is, isn't it?
So,
Right?
rather than wait until September, we had gone away camping, and camping usually involves a lot of adult beverages. We got back, and I was like, first night I was like, you just had plenty. So I didn't. And when I woke up the next morning, I was like, rock on. And so then I knew that was the breaking point. I was like, you have to get through day 2. Because if you don't, I've had a night of sobriety enough to know that one night doesn't mean that I'm on the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then once I got through the second night, I was like, this shit is on now.
So
the next challenge is going to be, the next challenge will be for me. So I'm going to do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I will let myself. Because it's a Sunday fun day, and I'm just not there yet. But Monday will be the next time it will challenge me. So it got easier through this week. I was like, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm in the routine now. Don't drink during the week. I wasn't even thinking, like last night I didn't even want anything to drink, which was awesome. I was reading, right? So, win-win, right?
Adult.
Yeah, like I'm sitting, and the other thing is like, I think it helped with cross country and the heat. Like, I just knew I couldn't mess around.
Yeah.
Alcohol's not helping me in this situation. I'm sweating out half my body weight through the course of the day. I need fluids. I'm tired at like 8 o'clock anyway.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
Reading is making my eyes tired, so I'm going to go to bed early. So I'm waking up rested, hydrated. And so as the week went, like last night, I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, practice was so hot yesterday. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't actually want it.
Yeah.
But when I woke up this morning, it was the first thing, unfortunately, that I thought. Which is, that's the struggle. I can have a beer today.
Oh, I gotcha.
I was like, yay, it's Friday, I made it. So I know that Monday, have to just do it again. I can't let this week be an anomaly. I gotta know how good I felt and just Monday say, listen, you don't need it.
Yeah.
No need. Hit the water again. We'll have cross country again. You know, I'll have all my
Yeah.
normal workouts. It's not supposed to be as hot, but now that I've done it, I think I'd like to see if it's gonna get back. The AC
So, yeah, well, no,
So,
we have it on a timer at 11. I'm gonna
we're on a
check.
timer, people. It's going to start to get hotter and hotter.
Lights are going to go out here in a second.
Are they really?
No. Casey asked if
How
she
do you
could
have
use
this show
this.
so-
That'll answer it right there.
There you go, right?
Joel
And show's
shuts
over.
the Wi-Fi off. Just like nobody needs any more of this. No one. No.
That's funny.
Um,
So yeah, so that was going to be my September, but now I'm doing it. So I don't know what my September.
You know, I just want to say that I love that so much. One, because I feel like there are so many expectations in society for everything. But I think your willingness, maybe mine, to open up and really share the experience honestly, right? Like if anybody is listening to any of this with any sense of like judgment over anything you might have just said, Heirloom would not be the place for you. Is that like I feel so like protective of your experience. Like as you're getting vulnerable and saying all these things, I'm like, if anyone is to say anything,
Don't come at my little brother, big brother.
Don't even.
I'm the older brother.
Don't you? I mean, less mature. I can see how that would confuse you. You do seem younger. You do seem younger. I'm not gonna lie. But also just how valuable it is to be sharing this because it normalizes it. Not in like a healthy way, but in a, you know what, it actually having the thought, taking the time to respond to that thought about whether or not you want that beer or that cupcake
Right.
or the, you know, Reese's peanut butter cup in the checkout line at Wawa. Or, you know, like how many of those things we just do out of habit that creates the life that we have that so many are miserable in.
Correct.
And
Correct.
but are so quick to be like, oh, I would never let people know that the first thing I think of in the morning is
Right.
that I'm going to have a beer this afternoon.
Right.
So I just thank you for that. And we got talking about, and we could talk about this. Have you guys seen the Malice at the Palace on Netflix? You haven't finished it?
No, I was watching it here. So I turned it on after class this morning. I was watching it. I came in. I was so hot. I came in after 6:30 class, and I turned off the lights. I didn't even want the lights on in here.
They're LED.
Turned on this. Angie came in at one point. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "I'm just watching
You're fine."
Netflix." And just was like, and immediately was like, "Oh, this is so good."
So
Oh,
we lived in Indiana,
Mhm.
in Indianapolis, from 2001 to 2005, and that was in 2004.
Yep.
And I loved Reggie Miller.
Yep.
I loved
Reggie.
Jermaine O'Neal because I would probably associate myself a little bit with him in terms of like he's got some grit and some grind and some work ethic and just like
Yeah.
I don't know, willing to make it work and
Right.
and do it with a little bit of, you know, grind.
I
Just,
agree.
you know, he's not polished all
No.
the way now.
Right. Now he is.
Now he is.
Phenomenal.
But this experience changed his life.
Yeah.
And I love everything about it. And the whole thing that I thought of when I was watching it last night, we were not watching it together, was how brave Meadow World Peace is.
In that documentary.
In that documentary.
Yeah.
In
Ron
his-
Artest.
Ron
This is
Artest.
Previously named.
In his willingness to share exactly what was going through his mind.
Yep.
And I think, again, like, that was what I thought is how many people are going to look at this and think he's just a nutcase. Like,
Yeah.
but literally doing the best that he can with
Right.
what he has.
And my thought was, people, like you'll see posts on Facebook like, everybody's going through a struggle. You know, everybody has their struggles,
yes,
right?
yes,
and
yes,
so
yes.
like, when that goes down, and he already had a reputation in the NBA, and he was a rough player, and hard fouls, and you know, he was known, but like to hear his teammates talk about like, nobody worked harder, nobody
Yes.
like, he was the hardest working guy in the
Yes.
NBA, most talented, and yet he's fighting He said he was fighting depression and anxiety at the same
At
time.
the same time.
So depression, anxiety about the future, depression about the current, and then he's trying to go out on a basketball court, and depending on whether he's at a low or a high, depends on how he interprets what's happening on the basketball court, enough that he had a psychiatrist traveling with him.
Yep.
And so when this event happens, everybody that's watching it thinks they know Ron Artest.
Yep.
You know, and
He's just an asshole.
Thug, which I hate.
I do too.
Because I think there's another reason why people use
I
it. But
agree.
But yeah, thug behavior and thug this, and NBA players need to, you know, and but I've learned that more in later in my adulthood than I, you know, 25-year-old Sean and 45-year-old Sean, or 46-year-old Sean now. Like I'm much more aware of that, just because of experience. And
So have you gotten to the part where he wins with the Lakers?
no, so
Okay.
so the fight just went down.
Okay.
They pulled him off the court. And Steven Jackson's like, ride or die, baby, ride or die. He's sitting in the locker room happy that his teammates threw down together
Yeah.
and nobody left anybody hanging, and then I had to call.
So the next part is Ron Artest asked for a trade after that.
Okay.
And that was because he could not stay and handle the rebuilding of that.
Wow.
And so he essentially quit the Pacers.
Yep.
And I've been thinking a lot about this concept of quitting for many reasons. I think one of the things that a lot of people, it's common to ask. It's kind of like, how old are you, or what do you do for a living? Everybody will ask, like, how many members do you have? And it is so ever evolving. Of like people coming and people going and people figuring out if it's right for them, and like getting a punch card and then switching to membership and then switching, or getting a membership and then switching to punch card, and then like going on vacation and then like taking the summer off, or those sorts of things. So it's like we are very much advocates for quitting, like making it work for you. I would rather have you be getting the value than not. But it is really interesting to think of like our relationship with the word quit and like what it means. We talk about it in terms of like quitting drinking or quitting smoking or those sorts of things. But do you have, like, as an athlete, so I listen to Glennon Doyle is her name. She has a podcast called We Can Do Hard Things. Her wife is Abby Wambach. She's
Okay. I know Abby.
best U.S. women's soccer player of all time.
Yep.
And then Glennon's sister. And they actually had a podcast about quitting. And they pulled up quotes from Abby and from Glennon. And Abby's quote was, you know, like, once you start something, you just can't quit. You got to go all in, and you got to put your team before yourself. And there's no quit. And then there's a quote from Glennon that says, like, I quit every day. I go all in on what I'm doing during the day, but I need to call it quits at night. Like, they are huge philanthropists and feminists and advocates for the LGBTQ community. And she's like, that takes all of my soul. So I give it everything I have, and then at quitting time, I quit. Like, and I'm not in like a bad way, but like that is a different Glennon at night. And I just think it just spurred all kinds of thoughts about why there is such shame around quitting. Like, would it benefit us to reframe our thoughts around quitting?
Right.
What are your thoughts?
Well, my initial reaction is I would. So it's for me, full disclosure, has a very negative connotation. It's not a word that I like. So the idea that she says she quits, I would never use that word there. And I understand why she uses it there, because she's saying I'm taking a complete break, not doing it.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of context, because her sister did a little bit of research. And so the origin of the word quit is Latin.
Shocker.
Right?
Freaking everything.
And originally meant to be still. And then when we translated it into quit, the actual definition of quit is to set free.
Well, that's a game changer.
Right? And so if you think of like I have a question, like something can you think of something that you have successfully quit? Like I wrote down, so like I quit, daily tracking my food, to kind of go with some things that we've already talked about. I I've quit training to compete.
Yeah.
Like I had to go through that thought process in my mind of whether I was going to continue or not. I had to pursue or be set free from that responsibility or that objective.
Right.
I quit many jobs because we've moved. If
Right.
I wasn't willing to quit those jobs, I mean,
Right.
would that have been, if I was the kind of person that when Joel was like, hey, the next opportunity's come up, and I would have been like, oh, I really like my job here.
Yep.
Totally changed our whole trajectory in life. I've quit refusing to ask for help. That was one that came to me this morning because I asked for help and I expressed to you how much harder that was for me than it should have been because it wasn't actually a big deal.
Right.
But, like,
yeah, that's it.
I've quit relying on Joel to make me happy.
Yeah, why am I struggling? Because trust me, plenty.
You are a quitter. No,
I quit a relationship. I mean, I ended a relationship, so that's not really.
But so just because you're still thinking, the other bit of history that was, I think, brought up by Glenn and sister was when the word quit turned to a negative. Because of course we as human beings did that.
First,
yeah, words aren't negative. We give them that personality.
Correct.
And that was during the Industrial Revolution, when the term quitting time came to be, when everybody's productivity, that was your value and worth to the world, is how much are we bringing this world forward, and how hard are you working, and if it's quitting time, you're a quitter. And how hard can you work, and how long can you work?
I'm only dumbfounded. We didn't practice. Like, this is literally the most we've not talked about what we're going to talk about. So she's throwing some, like, beautiful shit at me. And I'm over here like, blah, blah, blah. Like, Sean's not really that witty, actually. He had everything just prepared. Bitch is unoriginal. That's awesome.
Isn't it?
Right, because the Industrial Revolution is all about producing, right? You got to produce. So the idea of not producing would have a negative connotation. Quitting time.
I've quit feeling like I have to RX every workout.
I've done that, or I've quit worrying about the leaderboard.
Yes.
I could give two shits about.
And so why don't we recognize those things that are all positive as, I mean, you literally, so we've set ourselves free of that.
Yeah. We almost need, there's something in this for the members.
Right? I feel like
y'all a bunch of quitters. We know you are.
Yes.
I totally, that's something I quit. Okay, so that's something I quit. Very good. Okay. I've quit thinking that I'm a better athlete than I am. Here's what I mean by that. So when I was doing triathlons, it was me, and I had to do my rides, and I had to do my runs, and I had to do my swims.
Because you were that good.
Because I could finish middle of the fucking pack. Way to be 4,000 out of 8,000. Sean, I'm really glad you neglected your family every Saturday.
So he's sorry.
Totally quit that shit.
He loves you.
Yeah, totally quit that. And knowing that I still have goals of being better here. So it's not like in quitting,
it's not all or nothing.
I'm still so motivated.
Yes.
I'm so motivated.
Doesn't that quitting, that like freeing of that mental space of that expectation of yourself really open you up to like the reality of actually maximizing the potential of who you really are?
Correct. And I think that's key. I read it actually in a book that I had to do for my continuing ed, just that the average athlete gives themselves too much credit for their genetic capabilities, right? Like, we think we're far better than we really are.
Yeah.
Let's just be realistic.
Yeah.
And let's just come in here and be a better you, be a better me. Like, there are things I can do and I can't do. Stop watching the games, right? And just look at where am I, where can I get to? Is there a new skill I can pick up? Is there, can I get better at a lift? Can I get a PR? Compare me to me.
I wonder how out of whack our, perspective is. Because I had a member watching the games when the games were going on say, did you ever consider doing that? And it's like, I know we're close. Right. I started CrossFit when I was that somebody would think that I had the potential to be at the games, which maybe as a mass, like,
flattering.
right, very flattering,
Right.
but also just shows how it's hard to explain to people who are not pursuing like excellence in that thing how much actual like work and dedication and what a full-time thing that is. And so you watch something like the games and you're like, God, I should be able to thruster 185 pounds or something like that. And then it's like, dial it back. Like, can we watch that and appreciate that for who they are and what they've put into it, and have it have zero reflection on what we feel about our own accomplishments?
Well, we've talked about how that influences people's willingness to join here, with the idea that it's a CrossFit-oriented gym, and
Yes.
you know, the people that just it's funny to us because we're like, oh, God bless you if you think that's what we do.
Right.
You really should come in and watch us
Right.
modify the hell out of everything.
All the things. Everyone in their
All the
own
time.
way.
And we've gotten, I really am proud of our membership. I have seen huge gains in our members doing a better job of like their awareness of themselves and knowing their modifications and their willingness to modify.
Yeah.
But you're still quitters.
Well, so this was
I use this word a lot.
this was a quote that I put on Instagram yesterday. It came from that same podcast episode, but to kind of help you determine the difference between like, am I a quitter in the bad sense or am I a quitter in the good sense?
Right.
Do you want to, quit because it's hard, or do you want to quit because it's wrong for you? They actually use it like, do you want to be set free of this because it is hard for you or because it is wrong for you?
Totally.
And we practice that in a workout every day when you debate in that like back half of a workout, like, should I take some weight off or should I lower the reps or should I change the movement? Like, and you have to be honest with yourself about like, okay, it is just really hard right now, but I can do it.
Right.
Or I've lost control of that movement. It's unsafe for me.
Those are two vastly different.
Two very different things.
Yep.
And the ability to distinguish between that in a workout, I think, can only help us build that strength and ability to determine that outside of a workout.
Correct.
Like in that life.
Imagine like that same idea in the relationships that you have with people. Like there are certain relationships that we need to quit because they're not healthy for us, and then there's other relationships that we shouldn't quit, right? That it means that there's work involved,
Yeah.
right? And that you need to do the work,
Yeah.
and not quit it in the sense of walk away from it.
Yeah. And not right now doesn't mean no forever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
I think we've adapted that a lot to the coaching schedule.
Mm-hmm. Our coaching schedule history is hilarious.
But it was one of those things that, I don't know, ignorantly, I thought we like set into it and we were like, this is it.
We were ready.
And then it's COVID, and then we just shifted and again, just with the freedom of like, yeah, I'll take that classes and do that because I don't feel like it's like a forever answer. It's like, let's figure it out. And
For now.
yeah.
COVID helped in that regard, I would
COVID
argue.
totally helped in that regard.
Because if we started and done a whole spring, and then we get to summer, and then the fall, where summer with me being more available, and then Angie less available with Ironman, and then I think we would have struggled a little more to adapt. But we were 2 weeks in, everybody went home, and then as we started to do the online, you led it first, and then who else wants to, and so then we came back in the alley, and so it's always been kind of a flux thing.
It has, which I think has worked to our advantage.
It's worked to our
I've
advantage.
enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I would like to think that the members aren't seeing the same coach all the time.
I thought that
is
too.
a good thing.
I agree.
Hopefully they think it's a good thing. But I like it because I feel like I know everybody.
Are you sick of all of my jokes about me taking over all your classes
I
yet?
love your jokes. I love your jokes. I like it better when you say it's because I'm getting fired. Gradually. I'm on double secret probation. Sorry, Barn Fit, but I have been not demoted. That's a slap. I should have not said that. But I've been told that I need to get better at modifying and working with the athlete, and she's going to make me work with you on that. because she said you're the best at it.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to learn from you.
Yeah, you are. So, but now I'm going to coach the 4:45 on Monday leading into it, so I'll get to see you on Monday evenings.
Good luck, 4:45. So I'm not going to, not going to do it. Not going to.
So if
say good
I
luck.
play the playlist that you played this morning at 9 at 4:30 this afternoon, is that a win or a loss? Is that a good DJ move? See, I think it'd be a good DJ move. This was my point, though, is that if I play this beautiful playlist, what's the name of the playlist so I know?
Sean's Rock.
I loved it.
I'm so arrogant.
So, no, I feel like I've played it before, and for some reason, like when I go to play it, the first song that's going to be on is going to be like some Journey ballad.
Yeah.
That's going to
shouldn't be on there, but
how does that happen to me every time?
Right. I don't know. Spotify may add to your playlist because it's happened to me too, where I've played like a playlist. Like I played classic. I played my rock. I feel like, and like Flo Rida came on, and I was like, no, that's not classic rock. But I would argue that
what's a better playlist? For 4:30.
4:30 on a Friday.
So if I take over your coaching responsibilities, could you just let me know what playlist?
Here's what they like. Tell me who's coming to class.
Yes.
I'll tell you what they like.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't on a Friday.
I think it was perfect for today. For this workout.
There was some dancing. There was some singing along.
I like, especially during an imam, some music that I can sing along to because it's kind of it's a good distraction.
Yeah, you don't need like I have a Sean's harder rock. That's not for an imam because that's like like Cadillac kind of like let's get pumped. And with the imam, it's flat and then chill and then and if you're just it doesn't let you relax.
I think if Matto was out there, he'd argue that it's always a good day for harder rock.
That's true. We do have some that's their jam, but yeah, And then I gotta learn what Barnfit likes now, so I gotta kind of
80s dance party.
80s dance party. I love
Which
it.
I also don't know that they like. I like it.
Oh, fair enough. They haven't complained about that one. They've complained about that one.
The other ones.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
No, barfitters don't complain.
No?
No, it's only 4:30.
Oh, ooh, high maintenance. That's because they're cranky.
Yeah.
They worked all day.
So we are doing an impromptu BYOB happy hour after class today because it is the changing of the guards at the Friday 4:30.
It's kind of a big deal. You should attend.
Yep.
It is.
It'll be a good time. My first 4:30.
Yeah, and I just want to come in to see the carnage. The results of the class, and
It's going to be a hot one. How many do you think I'm going to have?
I don't know. I pray for them because it is hot. It is hot. So drink your fluids all day and stay out of the sun if you can because it's hot. But we can do the happy hour here.
True.
It's going to be air conditioning.
Yeah.
Air conditioning, so.
Yeah.
And Sue's going to be here. That's an even better reason to come to happy hour. The lady behind the curtain who has completed her first week of work, tomorrow, successfully. She has one more, and then she comes back to the bar. And that'll be exciting.
How frustrated is she going to be?
I don't know. They call me Fields.
Yeah, I did. It's been a
Let's see
minute,
that
right?
coming. Yeah, she's... Bless her heart.
Is she going to be frustrated about her abilities, or she's just going to be excited?
What we said in talking is she should do what she was doing right at the end before she had her surgery of modifying and then work backward. Because there's no need to drop down into a burpee right now.
No.
Right? But so try to stay vertical as much, keep the weight light, just get regular attendance, and she was totally okay with that. When you haven't been, you just want to be able to be here. So I don't think she's coming in wanting to throw weight around. She just wants to be able to come in and sweat, right? And
I would say that advice is really good.
Without doubt.
It makes me regret firing you. One more thing.
You just gotta give it time. It's a slow process. I told everybody, in 10 more years of teaching, I'm gonna be pretty good at that job. I'm feeling pretty confident in year 22 that I almost know what the hell's going on. By 30, I'm gonna be just killing it. So you just fired me too early. Year and a half. Come on.
Sorry. You need more time.
Jeez, give me a probation.
So you got all emotional about that. What was that? What were you feeling?
Yeah, just her journey and there have been several times in workouts where I've actually used her as my motivation.
Oh.
You know, like throwing the wall ball today. I'm like, well, she doesn't get to throw a wall ball, so bitch, throw it back up there. Like, just deal with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just know that it's been a long, long road.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the little things like she hasn't been on the boat, so I'm hoping Sunday we can go out on the boat. You know, I hope that this end of this summer, you know, getting her in the pool and swimming and, you know, going out on the boat and getting back to the barn and the last little bit of August that we have. But she's had a rough summer.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the trick, right? You got to use the down times to
Right.
help you appreciate the good times.
Yeah, you
not
know,
take them for granted.
Tracy McRolla said that to me one time about training, but I think it's true. You can't have highs without lows.
Yeah.
So you can't like go full bore all the time and all of the things. Like you kind of have to chill out every once in a while and then get back to it. And
Yep.
so, you know, this will probably really motivate her. She'll probably come back and just be killing it.
Yep.
She'll just be so happy that she can do it. Where if you're just always doing it, then you start to regret it, or you start to.
She's extra grateful for the opportunity to do it
Exactly.
because she's been coming off not being able to do it.
We said that at Run Club the other night. Remember?
Yes.
So you guys have the ability to run.
Yeah.
Like you get to run, not you have to run. You get to run. That changes your perspective.
It does.
So yeah, so things are good. Things are good. We got one more week of this. Then we're
I
not
know.
sure what we're gonna do.
I know.
mean, see what our following says. They might not even want us to do it
I know.
anymore. Both of them. I don't.
I don't know.
And we have to have Joel on here. We're still having that Joel. We need
yeah.
a full session with Sue.
Yeah.
And we haven't heard, did any members make any suggestions? Let her
No. I
don't
know.
if
I
there's
don't
any
know.
suggestions. I mean, I want to keep doing it. And I can
I
definitely
enjoy
come.
just talking to you. So.
Yeah,
But
they've
I
been
don't know
fun.
when.
Sue loves them, I know that. She is still,
I
she
love
loves our
them.
talks. She loves our talks.
Yeah, so if anybody has any ideas, let us know.
Yep.
We'll keep floundering around.
Yeah, but come to happy hour today.
Yep, if you're a member.
If you're not a member, join.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday, everybody.